Hey everybody, Matt here today, and today's topic, as you can probably see from the title, is going to be talking about some different types of stoves. This is not one of them. I'm holding it. Alright. We're going to kind of go over pros and cons of different types of stoves. Not stoves individually, but different types of stoves. Alright, so let's start out with a lightweight. This is probably one of the lightest stoves you can get. It's called a Super Cat. Basically, all you need to make this stove is a cat food can and a hole puncher. I mean, it is a very easy, simple stove. All you do is you put your fuel in there and you light it, and boom, it's a great little stove. I mean, it's so simple, but it's still a really good little stove. So that's a good one. We're going to go over the stoves, and we're going to go over different advantages, disadvantages. Alright, next one is this, which you could recognize from some of the other videos I have. It's my DIY Elite stove. This is also a very good stove. Works really well. It's a little bit more complicated because it is two pieces of cans nestled together, and it is a inner wall stove. But it is very small. And then we have the Mini Bowl Design BIOS. This is just an amazing stove. Just all that it does. Oh man, it's great. And it's got a priming wick right there, so you don't have to reach down and light it there. You just put some fuel on there and you light that. With both of these stoves, you kind of got to reach in there a little bit, but it's not that bad. Usually it just starts up. Alright, so let's put those aside and look at some other stoves. Alright, all of these stoves here, they all need a wide pot. So, like this here, the Super Cat needs a wide pot like the grease pot. That would be a good stove for the grease pot, and the BIOS is also a really good stove for the grease pot. But you know, it doesn't, the BIOS and the Super Cat and the Elite also works. It would work pretty good with a grease pot. But the BIOS, the Super Cat, they would not work very well with a beer can pot. The flames would just come up way too high on the sides of them and just burn the sides, basically, the pot. And it would be very hard to actually take a hold. So all of these outer burning stoves, they do better with like a grease pot, a kettle, the tin cup. The tin cup is better with smaller ones like the Elite, but it could be used with a BIOS or a Super Cat. But it is better with the Elite because it's smaller. So wider pots like that. Alright, the next wave of stoves are these. Inner burning stoves. They have the holes on the inside and they burn up. This one is just a little penny can stove. Usually you put a penny or something to cover those fuel holes. And again, it's got a priming wick. And these stoves are great for beer can pots. Little pots like this world famous stainless steel cup. It's a nice little pot. Heineken pots and all that stuff. All these different goodies right here. But the disadvantage here is that you need a pot stand like that. There is no way you can burn this without a pot stand. Alright, let's see. Okay, I put this over here. It extinguishes the flame, completely smothers it out. So I have to have, I knocked that out. I have to have a pot stand to set over it. Now, I'm not a gram weenie. I'm okay with carrying a pot stand, but some people, that's a little bit of extra weight that you could take out if you carry just a little stove like this that didn't need a pot stand. So that is one of the cons. But a very minor one. If you don't mind carrying a tiny bit of extra weight, then that's fine. Then you can get a little bit smaller like this. Instead of the penny can stove, now we have a little set screw that we have to use. This is that Mini Bull Design Nyon that was converted to a mini atomic that I told you about earlier. And so it's got a little set screw, that little thing right there, that goes in the stove. And again, we see a priming wick. And again, you need a pot stand for it. And they can work with these bigger pots, but it would take a lot longer. It's just more efficient to use a side burning like that. So that is that. Stick these back here out of the way so we can get another stove in here. Now, here's the beauty of a new era of stoves. The fuel-fed stoves. This is the Mini Bull Design M4. And it does great with either types of pot. You can burn a beer can on it, or you could burn, or use a kettle, or the tin cup. The tin cup works really well with it. Or you could use the grease pot, because you can limit how much fuel goes in with your little controller there, and you can either make sure the flame stays lower for a beer can pot, or that it's constantly flared up and running on full throttle for, let's say, the grease pot back here. But again, you do need a pot stand. And there are other types of stoves that are like this one that do come with legs. Smoke Eater 908, he makes a lot of these stoves that have the legs on them. You can make your own stove with legs on them like that, like those. And Tinny now is selling the Bongo Pro 4 that has legs on it, but it is, I mean, again, I'm a cheapskate, so I'm not paying 95 bucks for a stove. So what I'm thinking about doing is doing a cool kind of like a conversion for this, so I can do it with a pot stand or without a pot stand. I'm thinking about building a little base, kind of like Smoke Eater 908's, I think it's called a hiker stand or something. It's a little base your stove sits in, and the base has holes for the legs. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I might make it out of like a Venom bottle, but I'm not sure. I'd like it to be a kind of snug fit. So that's just a lot of different options you can take. Just take that into consideration before choosing which type of stove is best for you. Consider your cook kit. If you have a beer can pot, would you use a stove like this? No. It's better to have a stove like this, or even this. You could use one like this, but you would have to wait till that thing burns out before you can grab your pot off of it. It's just much better and safer to use something like this. Or if you have a pot like this in your cook kit, would you rather be using something like this that needs a pot stand and would not be as efficient, or would you want something like this that is much more efficient with a wider pot and would just be all around better? I'm going to do another separate video that goes more in depth with maybe some of these cook kit options, combinations, and all that might be coming up, and I might have a tin cup cook kit review showing y'all my tin cup cook kit. Alright, well, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you all next time on the next Sawgrass Brothers videos. Hang loose, all you hammockers, and y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.